My beloved child, keep your heart still. Tonight I will stir the silence. A familiar face will soon become unfamiliar, not because you have changed, but because truth is now ready to be revealed. The one you once trusted, I will expose them like a sword piercing through every layer of pretense. They were close to you, even very close, but they were never truly walking with you. They praised me with you, prayed with you, even offered words of love, but all of it came from a dark place within their soul, a place you could not see. Hypocrisy does not reside in the face, it hides deep in the motive. My child, the most brutal betrayal often doesn't come from an enemy, but from one you once called a brother. I placed you in the midst of people, yet no one truly stood with you. The applause that surrounded you was not because they believed in you, but because the light within you threatened to expose the darkness in them. You are not being isolated because you are wrong, but because you have been set apart for something far greater than they can comprehend. The betrayal you now endure is not a failure, it is the mark of the chosen. Do not mistake counterfeit holiness for my presence, for not everyone who calls me Lord walks in truth. You are surrounded by words that sound right but are birthed from twisted hearts. Some use scripture as a weapon to mask control. They invoke my name but manipulate through fear. You thought you were covered in spiritual fellowship, but in truth you were being bound by false covenants. I am severing those cords disguised as holy, so you no longer call darkness light. I know you have prayed. You have trusted. You have loved with all your heart. But what you did not know was that someone turned your innocence into a tool for their own agenda. They came cloaked in false humility, but beneath it was envy dressed in the robe of service. They didn't oppose you outright. They drained you quietly through subtle mockery, through jealous glances. I will not allow it to continue. My child, I reveal these things, not so you may retaliate, but so you may be set free. You cannot step into this new journey with me while dragging chains forged from sweet words. Do not fear the loss. Loss is necessary for liberation. When I uncover the hidden one, it is also the moment I open a new gate where you will be surrounded by those who walk in the same spirit, not merely the same religion. Beloved, I know there are moments when you've asked why I allowed these things to happen. Why the one you trusted deeply turned their back on you, spoke against you, or silently wounded you. You believed that if you loved sincerely, if you lived to please me, your relationships would be protected. But my child, even Jesus, my only beloved son, was betrayed, not by a stranger, but by someone who walked beside him, who called him teacher, who kissed him in false affection. I let you walk through betrayal, not because I was silent, certainly not because I forgot you. On the contrary, it is how I shape you to become like Jesus, not just in power, but in endurance, in surrender, and in forgiveness. You are being formed, not just to survive, but to reign, and there is no throne without a cross, no rising without pain. I am not looking for fragile vessels. I am searching for hearts that can endure the fire and still remain tender. When you hurt from betrayal, you are sharing in the sufferings of the Savior. You are carrying a piece of his wound. That does not make you weak, it makes you real. You have loved, and true love always comes with a cost, but do not let the wound harden your heart or cause you to doubt everything. Let me use that very pain as fertile soil for your spiritual growth. Every tear you've shed in betrayal is a seed, and I, the Lord of the harvest, will not let it fall in vain. Never forget, betrayal didn't end with Judas's kiss. It was merely the beginning of a far greater plan. Through that betrayal, Jesus entered the path of redemption. Through that wound, grace was revealed. And you too, in the moments you feel most broken, I am writing a new story. You are not abandoned. You are being trained, not to become fearful, but to become a warrior of truth. If Jesus endured betrayal, then you who carry his spirit will not be exempt. But I promise you this, I will not let you be destroyed. I will turn what others meant for harm into the very thing that strengthens you. What they did behind your back cannot surpass my power before your face. And what they failed to value, I will use to glorify my name in you. My child, be strong. This is not the end. It is only the beginning of the spiritual transformation I am giving to you. My child, place your hand on your heart and breathe deeply. I know your soul is storming after all that has just been uncovered. There are moments of shame, confusion, even anger, not just because others deceived you, but because you placed your trust in what was not real. But this exposure is not to disgrace you, nor to push you into bitterness. I reveal the truth because I want you free. I love you too much to let you continue in a fog where darkness wears light, where lies are painted in sweet words. You have tried to endure. You have interceded, loved, and forgiven time and time again. I have seen it all. But there are connections that, unless I intervene, will keep suffocating your spirit, pulling you back and causing you to trade your divine calling for a relationship that only seems right. I expose not so you retaliate, but so you are no longer tied to what no longer comes from me. The masks must come off not to shame others, but to release you from assumption and into truth. Remember, you were not created to be controlled, to silently suffer beneath a cloak of false humility. You were created to walk in power, in clarity, and in peace. Every time truth is revealed, a chain is broken. It may hurt to know someone you loved is not who you thought, but it would hurt more to keep living in illusion. I love you too much to let you sleep in falsehood. I awaken you with truth, even if it shakes you. But that truth will open the door to a cleaner, lighter, deeper life in me. My child, what I take from you is never what you truly need to fulfill my purpose. I don't remove what is good. I only remove what has expired. It may have once been a blessing, a beautiful connection, but now it no longer serves my plan for you. Clinging to what is broken only causes you to lose what I am preparing. And know this, I never take something away without the intention of replacing it with something greater. I understand you may miss them. You'll remember the prayers, the service, the shared moments. But what I am clearing is to make room for the new season. I don't want you to live with memories, I want you to live with purpose. What once carried meaning, if it no longer reflects truth, must be released. I remove it to purify, to heal, to deliver. Do not resist the shift, trust me. For this unveiling is the beginning of a profound restoration. Beloved, rest in my arms. Let me wipe your tears. Let me heal the part of your heart that is breaking. And then you will see I was not punishing you. I was protecting you. What I expose is not for you to look back in regret, but to step forward with wisdom. You are no longer bound by falsehood. Now you are free to love, to move, and to grow into the one I destined you to be from the beginning. Lift your head, my child. I know you were shaken when you discovered the words spoken behind your back, the quiet schemes carefully arranged to diminish you, obscure your voice, or take what you carried. You once wondered, will all this ruin God's plan for me? I heard that thought in your heart, even when you couldn't speak it aloud. And today, I want you to know this with certainty: no scheme, however cunning, can undo what I have ordained over your life. The manipulators may think they are clever. They may orchestrate situations to confuse you, isolate you, or shake your confidence. But my child, I am the Lord seated on the throne who sees the end from the beginning. No secret deed escapes my sight. On the contrary, I use them to push you closer to your destiny. What they did out of jealousy, I use as wind to move your ship forward. What they meant to harm, I reshape into refinement, so that when you reach where I'm leading, your strength will be real, not just surface deep. Do not fear what they may take from you, for if it truly came from me, no one can steal it. And if they took it, it was never yours for this season. I am the one who closes and opens doors. No lie, no force, no dark hand has the authority to block my plan for you. These schemes don't destroy destiny, they reveal character, and they fortify your core. Remember Joseph, to whom I gave a great dream. His brothers plotted to harm him, sold him into slavery, then cast him into prison. Yet that dark road became the path to the throne. You too are not lost, you are being led. Every scornful look, every false accusation, every door slammed shut, these are not signs of failure but divine strategy in my greater plan. They think they're writing the story, but I am the author. So do not fight with your own hands. Do not let your mind be shackled by defense, justification, or debate. I will be your advocate. I will vindicate you at the right time, not too soon, not too late. Let them speak. Let them plot. But you stay faithful. Keep walking in truth. For I am using all of this to prove one thing. You are the one I have chosen, and the one I choose no one can disqualify. Rest in the security of my word. Do not let the fear of being replaced or removed cause you to shrink back. What I have ordained for you will come to you even if the enemy builds walls to block it. If you are in me and your heart yields to mine, you will see their schemes are only the stairs I use to raise you. And they will witness me, honoring you, not because you struck back, but because you trusted me enough not to defend yourself. I will do it, my child, and I never break my promise. My beloved child, there is a gift I reserve only for those who have walked with me through fire, through tears, and through brokenness, the gift of spiritual discernment. It is not suspicion. It is not skepticism. It is the opening of spiritual eyes to see deeply, clearly, and rightly. I am teaching you to see beyond the surface, beyond words and actions, into the heart, into the motives, and into the spiritual atmosphere behind a smile. You used to trust easily. That was not wrong, it was a sign of a pure heart. But you cannot grow in my kingdom by innocence alone. I do not want you to lose your purity, but neither will I allow you to remain in naivety wrapped in good intentions. I am teaching you to discern between kindness and wisdom. For not everyone who praises you is truly for you. Not everyone who speaks in my name is truly walking in my spirit. And not everyone who says I love you carries heaven's selfless love. Some souls will enter your life cloaked in virtue and admirable gentleness, yet their spirit may be driven by envy, by a desire to control, by deep-seated insecurity. Without the discernment I give you, would be swept into emotional whirlwinds, gradually drifting from your mission just to keep peace. But I love you too much to let you live for artificial harmony. I want you to live in truth and in peace that comes from me, not from the illusion of being accepted by others. Discernment does not come from analysis. It does not come from credentials or experience. It comes from nearness to me, from listening more to my voice than to the voices of people. I speak to you in silence, in subtle stirrings of the heart, in moments when everything looks fine but peace is absent. That is me. That is spiritual discernment. I do not give you this gift so you can judge others, but so you may protect yourself and preserve what I am building through you. You once believed that remaining innocent was the way to please me. And yes, purity is essential. But I did not call you to be a lamb led to the slaughter forever. I am appointing you as a watchman. And a watchman must stay alert. A spiritual leader must know who walks beside them and who pulls in the opposite direction. I don't want you to live by assumption, I want you to live by revelation. And revelation comes through deep discernment. My child, you will begin to see more clearly, not with physical eyes, but with the light within your spirit. You will perceive who carries heaven's breath, who is a vessel of life, and who is simply performing a role. And when you see clearly, you will no longer be surprised or wounded, as you once were. You will walk steadily, loving without blindness, connecting without dependency, opening your heart without losing yourself. That is the mark of spiritual maturity. Beloved one, I know there are nights when you lie still in the dark, your heart spinning with unanswered questions. Why did they do that? Why did they change? Why was there no explanation? I see all those silent questions, the ones you've never dared speak yet. They sink into your heart like drops of sorrow, quietly weighing down your soul. But today I want to tell you something. Healing does not come through reasons. It comes through my presence. You may be waiting for an apology, a confession, a moment of honesty. But even if that came, it would not fill the emptiness in your heart. Because healing does not come from someone else's words, it comes from my touch upon your soul. You don't need full understanding in order to let go. You don't need to know why they turned away, why they stayed silent, why they chose to wound instead of protect. You only need to know one thing: I am calling you forward. And I never call you to leave something unless I'm leading you into something better. I know a part of you wants to hold on to the past, not because you don't want to move on, but because you long to make sense of what happened. But sometimes I intentionally leave that door without closure, because if they spoke, your heart would soften. You would forgive, but remain entangled, and the cycle would repeat endlessly. But I, your Father, know what is healthy for your spirit. I don't need their words. I need you to hear mine. Don't wait for a conversation. Don't wait for them to grow up and apologize. Don't wait for a letter of confession. If I have not allowed it to happen, then it means you do not need it in order to step into what I've prepared. Healing does not come from completing the old chapter. It comes when you allow me to write the new one. And in this new chapter, you will no longer live from your wounds, but from restoration. Not with a heart full of questions, but with a heart full of peace. Nothing can erase what I have written over your life. No betrayal is strong enough, no abandonment deep enough, no lie convincing enough to destroy the destiny I ordained for you before you were formed in your mother's womb. The only thing that can stop it is if you refuse to go on waiting endlessly for an explanation. My child, give me your pain. Give me space to heal you. Trust that what I'm calling you into is far greater than what you're leaving behind. I do not promise to erase the memory, but I do promise it will not control you. I will turn it into evidence of my faithfulness, and one day when you look back, you will no longer weep over it. You will know that it was in the season you thought you were breaking that I was rebuilding you from within, stronger, wiser, and filled with glory. No need for answers, just me, and I am always here. My child, do not tremble at revelation. Do not let your heart be shaken when I begin to uncover what was hidden in darkness. What I am doing is not judgment falling upon you, it is mercy clothed in light. I am not exposing things to hurt you once more. No, beloved, I am doing it to rescue you from the invisible grip that has been strangling your spirit without your awareness. For too long you have lived with a burden unnamed. For too long you have endured what your spirit has been silently crying out against, and I have heard that cry even when your lips could not form the words. Do you think I did not see I was there when you smiled among people who unsettled your soul? I heard the prayers you couldn't utter aloud. In every heavy heartbeat, in every questioning glance you gave yourself, I knew. You asked me in the night, why did everything fall apart right when I thought breakthrough was near? And today I answer you with truth. It's not because you did anything wrong, but because the foundation beneath you was already decaying, though. You didn't know. Some things you built weren't inherently wrong, but they were laid on relationships, covenants, and spiritual territories I never approved. You cannot soar when your wings are tethered by counterfeit praise. You cannot rise when your soul is held back by jealousy disguised in holiness. That is why I must purify your space, cleanse every layer not rooted in truth, and sift the entire web around you so the greatness I planted within you can take root deeply and blossom in season. What I am doing, child, is not just an external cleansing, it is an internal reestablishing. I am sanctifying the ground where your feet stand, not to separate you from others, but to prepare an environment where your soul is no longer violated by false love wearing spiritual masks. You were not created to live in inner chaos in murky shadows of half-truths. You were called to walk in clarity, in truth, and in spiritual rest. The oil has been poured on your head. I have marked you among thousands, not so you can boast, but so you can be a bearer of solutions of life, of light, into places of darkness. But that light has been dimmed, not because you lack strength, but because shady ties and harmless words have spun invisible webs around your spirit, jealousy hiding in friendly smiles. Unhealed wounds becoming the source of whispered curses spoken in the form of concern, advice, or intercession. I'm not calling you to hate them, but I cannot allow you to remain entangled with what is stalling your divine rising. I love them, and I love you. But you must understand, love does not always mean lifelong attachment. There are seasons I allow you to walk with others, but there comes a time when they no longer pursue the same destination, that separation becomes part of my divine strategy to shield you from the spiritual leakage, undermining what I am doing through you. You've seen it, some connections don't nurture your growth, they fuel your self-doubt. Some conversations don't refresh in love, they leave you drained, weary, without knowing why. That is not the life that comes from me. That is an atmosphere poisoned by silent resentment, unnamed control, and a thirst for recognition cloaked in spiritual language. I am not revealing this to make you collapse, but so you may rise, release, and walk forward in true authority. My child, every delay you've experienced was not because you didn't try hard enough. It was because your soul has been held back by covenants you were unaware of. These covenants were formed when you placed your trust in others above my voice. They were not bound by rituals, but by the promises you uttered in moments of weakness without seeking my will. But now I am opening your eyes. I am leading you out of those entanglements, not through a storm, but in the quiet, sacred power of my presence. I do not need you to make noise as you leave. I only ask that you surrender and trust me. There may be a sense of emptiness for a while. You will miss the people, the spaces that once felt familiar. But soon you will see, familiar does not always mean right. I am calling you into a new land where your soul can breathe again, where you no longer have to perform to be accepted, where you no longer measure every word for fear of being misunderstood, where peace is no longer foreign but natural as you walk with those who carry the same spirit as you. Do you know this? The closer you get to fulfillment, the more darkness will attempt to surround the light. It's not because you've done something wrong, but because the anointing on your life disturbs spirits that are not from me. The closer you are to break through, the more I must remove the ties that could make you collapse midway, and I will not let that happen, so do not cling to what I am taking away. Do not call something a blessing when my hand has already lifted from it. If I am no longer there, neither should you be. I am bringing you into a new season, a place where you will know me more deeply, hear me more clearly, and walk in wisdom like never before. But to enter that place, you must be willing to shed the old. You cannot walk through a new door carrying old baggage. And sometimes that baggage isn't physical, it's emotional, it's dependency, it's regret, and fear of change. Lay it all down at my feet. Hold nothing back, for I'm not only giving you a door, I'm giving you wings. You were made to soar. You were created to lead. You were not fashioned to walk with your head down, doubting your worth. You are the one I love, the one I've chosen, the one I've prepared long in advance for a moment such as this. And if I have to shake everything around you to protect what I'm planting within you, then I will not hesitate to do so. This is not the end, my child. This is the true beginning. I am clearing the soil of your life, uprooting fruitless roots, breaking down walls that block the light. And in that very place where there was once pain, I will raise up triumph. Where there were tears, I will pour out joy. Where there was rejection, I will establish honor. And the one who was forgotten, I will make your voice echo beyond anything you dared to hope. You are not alone, you are not forgotten, you are not lost. You are being led step by step through a sacred journey whose destination only I fully understand. Let your heart rest in my hands. Yes, everything is changing. But I am the one who never changes, and that is the firmest truth you can place your trust in. My beloved, do not fear when light shines into corners you thought were safe in the dark. Do not tremble when I begin to shift what seemed immovable to untangle bonds you once called connection, spiritual, or even family. I do not do this to push you away, but to draw you nearer, nearer to truth, nearer to freedom, nearer to me. I do not come to punish you. What I am uncovering is not punishment. It is proof of deep mercy. A father does not look away while his child is caught in nets woven with sweet words but laced with poison. A father cannot stand idle when his child builds a future on a cracked foundation invisible to human eyes. I see all things hidden, the manipulative thoughts behind hugs, the calculating glances behind blessings, the connections rooted not in my spirit, but in control, possession, and envy. And my child, when you feel drained after conversations that seemed harmless, after advice that leaves your heart heavy, it is not because you are too weak or too sensitive. Do not blame yourself for sensing what others cannot. Do not silence the discernment I've planted in you just to preserve a false peace. That is the moment I am whispering within you. A gentle, unwavering voice, the voice of the Holy Spirit reminding you something is not right. You may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit has been stirred. There are things I allow your soul to feel before your eyes can comprehend them. Because if you saw too clearly too soon, you might panic or act from pain instead of wisdom. So I train you in stillness. I do not always speak aloud, but I always move your spirit. Don't ignore these signals. Don't dismiss these irrational feelings. You are not alone in your confusion. I am there whispering. Do not react. Observe. Pray. Wait for me to act, because I am not a God of chaos. I do not call you to strive for justification. I do not lead you into confrontation just to satisfy anger or betrayal. What I expose, I will do in my way. In order, in clarity, in undeniable light, not through drama, not through vengeance. I am just, but I am also merciful. When I expose something, it is not to disgrace. It is to open a door for restoration for you and for the other person. You may feel pain. You may be disappointed. It may seem like the world is turning upside down before your eyes. But do not act from emotion. Do not let your words become blades, for I have not called you to fight flesh with flesh, but to fight with truth, with love, with wisdom from heaven. You are not permitted to curse. You are not permitted to slander. Not because I protect them, but because I protect you. Every time you stoop to retaliate in the flesh, you cut off the flow of living water from me within you. Let me do my part. I am the one who sees all. Vengeance does not belong to you, it never has. Your role is to guard your heart, to guard your lips from bitterness, to keep your hands from rash actions. To walk though it hurts, though you don't understand, in complete trust in me. I will lead you, and you will see the good ending if you do not snatch back control from my hands. You once asked me, why must I endure things I never deserved? I heard your sobs in the night. I saw the red in your eyes each time you smiled through the pain, and I was there, not to explain but to be with you. My presence does not arrive to answer every question, but to comfort and to heal. Sometimes I don't answer, not because I am silent, but because you're not ready to hear. I know the moment when your soul will truly receive the truth, not through reason, but through surrender. I am purifying you from the inside out. Not just from wrong connections, but from thought patterns that kept you chained to the need for approval. I am uprooting distorted images that betrayal etched into your mind, that you're not enough, that you must strive harder to be loved. My child, that is not true. You do not need to trade dignity to keep a connection. You do not need to shrink yourself to please others. I love you unconditionally, and those who truly belong to you will love you that way too, because they come from me. Look again that restlessness in your soul is not random. It is a nudge from the Holy Spirit. Every time your heart feels unsettled without reason, it is me knocking at your spirit. I have not called you to endure endlessly in relationships masked as justice or spiritual, but built on manipulation. I am calling you out of the confusion. Not to isolate you, but to set your feet on a solid foundation where you are not swayed by others' emotions, where your worth is not defined by any gaze but mine. You will be healed not when everything makes sense, but when you learn to rest in my embrace. You do not need every answer. You only need to know that I am here, and I will not forsake you. Healing doesn't come from closing the story perfectly. It comes from trusting that I am writing a new chapter, and that chapter needs no permission from those who once hurt you. My child, light does not need the permission of darkness to shine. And you do not need the approval of others to continue walking in the purpose I wrote for you before time began. What I have given you, no one can take. What I have opened, no one can shut. Unless you yourself choose to remain in the past, to dwell in your pain, to wait for explanations that may never come. I do not force you, but I always invite you. Walk with me. And if you are willing, just one step, just one nod from within, I will lead you through this season of drought. Not merely to survive, but to rise strong, radiant, unshaken by what was, but led by the one who never changes. Me, your Father, who loves you with an everlasting love. My child, when the light reveals what you are not yet ready to face, it may overwhelm you. But do not retreat. Do not let the pain drown out the purpose. Because what I am revealing is not a sentence. It is a door to the freedom you have long prayed for. What I pull from the shadows is not to incite fear, but to unfasten every chain that has bound your soul. You've asked me why your dreams are delayed, why things always feel off even when they seem stable. This is my reply. Deception cannot sustain the weight of the glory I am about to place upon your shoulders. I cannot allow you to build a house upon sinking sand. I love you enough to tear down structures built on compromise, emotion, and vague assumptions. I love you enough to let it all collapse before you step into what I've prepared, because if not, the very things you build today will crumble in the breakthrough you are waiting for. I am not destroying your life. I am realigning it. I am removing every chain that was never meant for you, every relationship that didn't come from me, every emotion that has pulled you out of the path of grace. Do not confuse my silence for absence. I have been with you at every step. I hear the cry of your heart even when no one else notices. On those nights you weep in silence, I sit beside you. When it seems every door has shut, I am crafting a new one, firm, holy, and guarded by my own power. But before you step into the new, you must learn to let go. Not easily, not in a moment. But every time you choose not to hold on to anger, every time you release the memory of the pain, you open your arms to healing. My child, this is also a time of testing. Not to make you fall, but to refine you like fire refines gold. I am watching not only your actions, but the depths of your heart. How you respond matters more than how you justify. Do you trust me enough to remain silent? Will you let me speak on your behalf, or do you still feel the need to expose, to prove, to reclaim what was lost? Will you believe that true justice is not in human hands, but in the hand of the all-knowing one? I do not always act the way you expect. I do not come to satisfy your desire for retaliation. I come to teach you rest, restraint, kindness, things that cannot be faked unless one has known deep pain. Anyone can love those who love them. But I am teaching you something greater: to stand firm in love even when love is betrayed, to keep your heart whole even when it's wounded, to choose forgiveness even when no apology comes. And perhaps the one whose mask I have lifted before your eyes will come with a gentle voice. Perhaps they will speak words of remorse. Perhaps they will cry. But my child, tears are not always the evidence of repentance, just as silence is not always innocence. Some hurt others and are unaware of the depth of the wounds they inflict. They may regret but not be mature enough to change, so I do not want you to forgive based on their worthiness. I want you to forgive because you are worthy of freedom. Forgiveness is not pretending nothing happened. Forgiveness is choosing not to let the wound govern your path forward. Every time you retell the story, every time you rehearse the anger, you trap yourself in a room without windows, without light. But if you entrust them to me, I will handle it. I will act rightly in due time and in full measure. Do not think they have escaped. No one escapes my eyes, but I do not punish like humans punish. I discipline to restore. I awaken the conscience. I bring them to face themselves, and if they turn back, I will receive them just as I once received you. My child, I do not want to see you living in the shadow of bitterness. It is not worth trading away your peace, your purity, your spiritual lightness for what I'm offering you. The more you clutch the pain, the more you become like those who caused it. Choose to be different. Choose a response not of this world. You are not a victim, you are chosen. And the chosen do not need to shout to prove they are right. They are silent, for they know the heavens are watching. I am not only working on the ones who hurt you, I am working within your heart. I am uprooting old reactive habits. I am healing invisible insecurities. I am breaking the need to prove yourself and teaching you that your value does not lie in how others see you. It lies in my hands, the one who called you by name, who knows every crack in your heart and still did not withdraw my calling. Every step of forgiveness is a step out of the dark. Every time you choose not to repeat the story, you shut the door on pain. Every time you stop trying to figure out why they did what they did, you make room for me to move, and one day you'll look back not with tears but with gratitude, because those very things caused you to rise, because their silence made you hear me more clearly, because their rejection brought you to the arms that never let go mine. You may think glory comes after victories, but in truth, glory comes after the times you chose to keep your heart tender when everything tried to make it hard. That's when you grow. That's when you become like me, not in miracles, but in essence. You no longer live to be loved. You live from the place of knowing you are loved. You no longer need to be understood because you are already fully known by me. You no longer need anyone to vindicate you, for I have already called you mine. Let the past pass like a wisp of smoke fading in the wind. Let go of what you cannot control, release those you cannot change, and walk forward, unburdened, unwaiting, unlooking back. I am waiting for you ahead, not with eyes of blame but with arms wide open. Not to ask you why were you weak, but to say I'm proud that you stood. Not to see you through the wound, but to clothe you with something new, healing, freedom, and glory. My child, this is not the end. This is the beginning. And once you make it through this season with a pure heart, nothing will be able to stop what I will do through you. I will not only restore what was lost, I will give you what should have always been yours. Not just redemption, but increase. Not just forgiveness, but the restoration of your very nature. Beloved, keep your heart still. I know you are in a time when everything seems torn apart. Relationships you thought were solid are cracking. Places that once grounded you now leave you restless and confused. But don't panic. Chaos is not the sign of destruction, it is the first motion of reordering. I am dismantling what did not begin with me so you can rebuild on what is true. And that starts with truth being revealed. When light comes, darkness has no shelter. Revelation is not meant to terrify you, but to pull from your soul everything that has caused you to silently stumble. I know you felt guilty for doubting. You told yourself, maybe I'm too sensitive or I just need to be more patient. But deep down you knew something was off. I whispered to your spirit. I sounded the soft alarm, but you tried to silence it, not wanting to offend. Now I cannot let you take one more step on that path without bringing all things into the light. My child, I am building a new bridge, not upon unfulfilled promises, but upon truth that has been tested by fire. You once called certain people blessings, but in reality they were tests. They were placed in your life to reveal what in you needs strengthening, what needs refining, and what must be removed. Do not hate them, and do not blame yourself. Every experience was part of the spiritual maturing process I designed for you. Not a single moment of your journey has been off course. Every loss carries a message. Every departure makes room for something truly sent by me. Let me make this clear. The disruptions you have experienced were not random chaos. They were the reaction of what did not belong to you when I touched it. Disingenuous ties, double-tongued words, hearts filled with manipulation, these all trembled when my light began to rise in your life. That is why you felt invisible pressure, exhaustion after seemingly spiritual encounters. It was because I allowed your spirit to sense the reality your eyes had not yet seen. Some relationships have extended beyond the season I appointed. Some places you've kept investing in out of fear of loneliness, fear of being misunderstood, or because you believed you had to be faithful. But my child, faithfulness is not the same as spiritual imprisonment. You were not created to cling to the counterfeit just because it feels familiar. I have destined you for a radiant path, a voice that echoes far, a sacred influence, and you cannot step into that while carrying tangled, impure networks around your life. I am separating you from the crowd not to isolate you, but to consecrate you. Your loneliness in this season is not a punishment. It is a divine hiding place where I heal your mind, restore your identity, and sharpen your spiritual discernment. You are not abandoned. On the contrary, I am drawing you closer. Not closer to people, but closer to me. Do not seek comfort in arms that are not genuine. Do not long to belong in a place where my presence no longer dwells. What you're feeling, pain, disappointment, disillusionment, is not the sign of failure, but the evidence that you are being drawn out of confinement into greater territory. What once was enough in the previous season is no longer fit to carry into the next. And I, the Holy One, will not permit what is unclean to accompany you into what I have prepared. You may not understand everything that is happening, but you don't need to understand, you only need to yield. Peace doesn't come from seeing the whole picture, but from knowing that I hold the brush, and my hand does not tremble, my eyes are not dim. I see what lies ahead, and I know exactly what you must let go of in order to receive it fully and securely. A door is opening, not just any door, but a door of destiny. Behind it lies a land where your voice will be honored, where your gifts will no longer be stifled by jealousy or control. It is a place where your soul will no longer shrink back in doubt, where you won't need to dim yourself so others don't feel threatened. Because it is I who made you radiant. It is I who caused your light to shine. And no one, no spirit can extinguish what I have ignited. Do not cling to what is slipping from your grasp. I am purging to bring renewal. I am removing to make room. You don't need to understand every loss, but you must believe that everything I take away is covered in my perfect love for you. I am not cruel. I do not dismantle to abandon. I cut away to heal. I clear out to bestow. And what I am about to give you is not just restoration, but a shift in spiritual position, from the wounded to the healer, from the harmed to the influencer. You will no longer have to prove your worth. I will affirm it myself by exalting you in the very place that once silenced you. I will place you among those who walk in the same spirit, free from envy, free from comparison. They will lift you up, and you will lift them in return. That is true community, those who are from me, not merely those who claim my name. My child, be brave and step forward. Do not romanticize the old. Do not grieve those who chose not to walk with you. I have seen their hearts, and I have acted, so you will no longer be dragged backward. Your destiny is too precious to be delayed by misplaced loyalty. I love you too much to let you stay in a comfort zone that keeps you from the greatness written for you before the world began. And if your heart is bleeding right now, I know. If you feel alone, misunderstood, left behind, I know. But it is in this darkness that my light will blaze the brightest. It is in the place of your greatest weakness that I will place strength beyond your own. And when the truth becomes clear, when all is revealed, you will stand not with a bitter heart, but with a grateful one. Grateful that I did not let you remain in a place where your soul could not grow. Take a deep breath, my child. Everything is shifting, not to take from you, but to place you where you were always meant to be. And through it all, love remains the crimson thread. You are not forsaken. You are being formed. You are not being cut off. You are being set apart. This is not the end, but a cleared beginning. Beloved one, when the light of truth begins to shine into places long shrouded in darkness, the first feeling is often not peace, but confusion. I see the upheaval in your heart. I understand it. Because truth, when freshly revealed, is rarely gentle. It does not arrive with soft wings, but with a roar that exposes all that was hidden. But child, do not fear when revelation comes. This is not my wrath, it is a river of mercy pouring out to set you free from unseen bondage. You've dwelled too long in a space that seemed peaceful, but where your heart never felt still. That is not weakness in you, it is me awakening you. Your spirit is sensing what your mind cannot yet name. You feel something is off, but lack the proof to be certain. I don't blame you for not understanding right away. I am not in a rush to force you to see. I simply bring light little by little, like the sunrise. You asked for breakthrough, and I heard you. But before I lead you into the new, I must tear down the old foundation, rotted foundations covered in religious paint, in fellowship, in spiritual bonds that were never from me. If I don't shake them now, the house of your life would collapse the moment you enter the next season. I am not punishing you. I am protecting you. I am cleansing your dwelling, purifying the network around you. I will not allow what merely looks good but lacks truth to coexist with the great destiny I've anointed upon your head. You couldn't see all the hidden falseness, not because you were blind, but because you loved too sincerely. You opened your heart, trusted, gave yourself. And I, the just one, do not despise that. But now that sincere love within you is being suffocated by deception, cloaked in sacred language. Some eyes looked at you not with affection but with envy. Some soothing words were not to build you up, but to lull your spirit so you'd forget the call inside from me. I do not work on the surface alone. I am digging deep, uprooting the hidden roots that delay you. The silent insecurities, the desire for approval, the fear of abandonment, these have tethered you to unhealthy ties you thought were from me. I know you're not stubborn, you just don't want to hurt anyone. But child, if you keep staying just to avoid disappointing others, you will lose yourself, and that is what I will not allow. This is a season of testing, not to break you, but to show how far you've grown with me. Your response matters more than the circumstance. I do not measure you by what you lose, but by how you respond when I remove what no longer fits. When you are misunderstood, what will you do? When someone you trusted wounds you, how will you respond? I do not look at the surface, I watch your heart. Every silent endurance, every choice not to retaliate, every moment you restrained anger to choose forgiveness is incense rising before my throne. The one I will soon show you may come with regret, with tears, with honest words, or may come not understanding what they've done. You may want to expose them, speak the truth aloud. But child, do not do with your own hands what I have not told you to do. Let me be your vindication. Let me be the voice of justice. If you hold it too tightly, bitterness will seep into your soul like poison. Bitterness never binds them. It only binds you to the wound. Forgiveness is not because they deserve it. Forgiveness is how you choose freedom. When you release them from your heart, I can enter and heal you completely. When you entrust them to me, you are not surrendering. You are trusting that I am just enough to deal with them and loving enough to restore you. Every time you let go, your heart opens wider to grace. And that grace will sustain you, restoring the parts once shattered by betrayal. Do not force yourself to understand everything in a single night. Revelation comes like the dawn, dim at first, then brilliant. I do not let you face the truth all at once, so you collapse, but I guide you layer by layer like a patient father teaching a child to walk. When you fall, I lift you. When you cry, I wipe your tears. When you tremble, I hold you close. I do not push you away when you're weak. I am not angry when you're confused. In fact, I treasure every moment you keep a soft heart and still choose to trust me despite not understanding it all. Not one of your tears is wasted. I not only see them, I gather them, preserve them, and use them to water the harvest ahead. I will make you bear fruit in the very land that made you weep. I will cause you to sing in the place you once longed to leave. I will give you new spiritual eyes, so next time the winds rise, you will not be carried off because your roots will be firm in me. Child, this was never just about one person, one betrayal, one wound. This is about everything that has quietly held you back. I am pulling up every fear disguised as duty, every craving for recognition from those who never truly saw your worth. I will no longer let you define yourself by how others treat you. I am calling you closer. Not closer to a role, but closer to me. And when you are close to me, you will see clearly. Every fog will lift. Every lie once whispered in your mind will fall like dry leaves. And only truth will remain steadfast, radiant, gentle, yet mighty. I am restoring everything within you. I am reestablishing your identity. No longer a child easily swayed by glances, praise, or silence. You will stand like a pillar, not with false strength, but with the steady courage of a heart anchored in me. My child, listen closely. I do not speak with a thunderous voice. I do not call out like the world does. I am whispering to your soul. And if you listen deeply, you will realize this very moment, this very day, this very place is the beginning of true freedom. I am leading you out of the old land, not because you were cast out, but because I am inviting you to something better. My beloved, I hear the whispers in your heart, even the words you never speak aloud. I see the way your eyes look at broken relationships filled with quiet confusion. You wonder how someone you once trusted could turn away so suddenly. How the very hands that held yours through the darkest seasons are now the same hands that let go without warning. You gave your sincere love to them, and now you blame yourself, thinking perhaps you were too naive, too soft. But child, hear my voice. You were not wrong to love with all your heart. Let every noise within and around you be still. Let the storm inside you settle like a lake after the rain. Because what I am about to whisper into your soul is not meant to condemn, not meant to stir more pain, but to lead you out of the shadows of misunderstanding into the light of truth. I am the one who sees every step you take, every tear you shed, every doubt you hide behind your smile. And now I want you to know the betrayal you endured is not the end. It is the intersection between your path and my plan. Betrayal in human eyes is the breaking of trust, but in my light it is the doorway to discernment, maturity, and spiritual positioning. When they turned their backs, you hurt, and I know that pain is beyond words. But my beloved, they did not betray you because you lacked worth. They left not because you weren't good enough. They hurt you because their souls lacked the strength to carry the sacred weight you bear. You are a child of light. When you enter a room, you bring more than your presence. You carry influence, my presence, and the life I breathed into you. And that light, dear one, not everyone can handle. Some admire you outwardly, yet inwardly they are unsettled by the light because light reveals what they've tried to hide for so long. Your presence causes deception to tremble. The truth in you exposes the compromise in them, and instead of repenting, they choose to walk away. I do not want you to doubt my goodness just because others failed to value it. You were not wrong to love. You were not wrong to trust. You were not wrong to give your heart. The betrayal they caused does not reflect your worth, it reflects the limitations of their own spirits. They did not know how to face the gift I placed in you. Like a precious gem mistaken for an ordinary stone, not because it lacked value, but because their eyes had not yet been enlightened to see the sacred. I know you've asked me, why did you let this happen? I've heard the sighs of your heart when no answer seemed clear. But child, I do not answer as man answers. I do not justify their actions, nor do I sugarcoat your pain. I answer with eternal truth, with the affirmation that I am using all of this to do a deeper work within you, a construction that only begins when the foundation is shaken, so you may learn to rebuild on solid rock. They turned away, not outside of my permission. They went silent, not beyond my control. I even allowed the fracture to reveal this truth. Affection is not always a sacred covenant, and not everyone near you is assigned to walk with you. I allow nothing without purpose. I do not permit your pain to harden you. I permit it to refine you, sharpen you, strengthen and clarify you. When you love, you walk in my footsteps. I have loved, and I too was betrayed. I once entrusted my most precious gift to one I called a friend, and it was that very friend who sold me with a kiss. You have loved as I have loved, and that means you have not failed. You resembled me more than you know. You are learning the lesson reserved for those who are called to go far, that some people can walk with you for only a season, not the entire journey. Let me hold you now. Let me wipe the tears you dare not shed before anyone else. I was never far from you in your pain, I was closer than ever. And in that sacred silence, I am rebuilding the parts of you that were broken with my own merciful and holy hands. You don't need to understand everything, only trust that I will never let betrayal be the final word over your life. You will get through this, not by your own strength, but by mine. And one day, when you look back, the bitterness will be gone. You will see clearly that this very wound opened the path I had prepared for you. A path no longer bound by half-hearted relationships, no longer entangled with ties not ordained by my spirit. You will realize that betrayal was a divine stepping stone, lifting you into a higher realm of grace and distinction. Do not close your heart, my child. Do not let pain teach you to grow cold. Let me teach you how to love again, trust again, but with eyes opened by divine wisdom. Let me heal you fully, not to erase the memory, but to allow you to remember without pain, because once you are truly healed, you will carry that healing to others, those who are stumbling out of the same darkness you just overcame. You are my beloved creation. No betrayal, no wound, no lie can destroy what I have planted in you. My word is eternal, and my calling is irrevocable. Even if your heart has cracked, I will make it stronger than before. This is not the end, my child. This is a new beginning, and you will walk into it not with a broken heart, but with a heart healed and anointed by my very presence. My beloved, don't believe everything is falling apart when in fact I am rearranging everything. Don't think you're being abandoned when I'm bringing you out of dependency to establish you on an unshakable foundation. I am building within you a temple. No storm can destroy a character. No lie can distort a steadfast spirit untouched by betrayal or silence. You cannot yet see all I am doing for. My work always begins in the hidden places. Before I bring you into the public, I dig deep in the private. Before I place something in your hands, I must ensure your heart is strong enough not to crumble under praise or criticism. So I allow certain things to leave. I allow some you thought would walk with you to turn back. I allow the breaking not to destroy you, but to strip away the false, to burn away misplaced dependencies, to teach you to lean on me and me alone. The fire you're walking through is not to consume you, it is to purify you. I am refining you like a goldsmith, patiently, carefully, without haste. You are not being burned, you are being cleansed. Every wound, every hurt, every dismissal, none of it is wasted. In my hands they become the raw materials for growth, for rising. Betrayal is the furnace, and its fire will only consume what was not of me. What is mine will remain and shine. You once asked, why did they leave me when I needed them the most? And my answer, gentle but certain, because if they hadn't left, you would never have learned to stand by your own faith. If every hand were there to hold you up, you would never discover the strength of my arm. If every voice encouraged you, you'd never learn to discern my still, powerful voice. It is in human silence that my voice speaks the loudest. When all outside support vanishes, you finally look up and realize I was there all along. My child, do not fear when everything around you seems to fall apart. Do not despair when those who walked with you turn away. It's not because they hated you, but because their hearts were never healed. People can only love healthily when their souls have been touched by perfect love. Those who carry brokenness, shadows, unrefined desires, will sooner or later hurt others even if they don't mean to. And you, with your sincere heart and radiant spirit, became a mirror, reflecting light, revealing their darkness. They did not betray you because you were wrong. They betrayed you because the light in you made them uncomfortable. Some betray out of envy, not because you are better, but because you live in truth they've long abandoned. Some betray out of weakness, standing between truth and falsehood and choosing the easier way. But child, I see it all. I see every glance, every whisper, every thought hidden behind a smile. Nothing escapes me. No scheme is beyond my control. And I don't just see, I use all of it to fulfill my eternal purpose in your life. You think everything is against you, but in truth I am orchestrating it all for you. They chose to lie, I use it to sharpen your discernment. They turned away, I use it to strengthen your inner resolve. They plotted quietly, I use your silence to expose the truth. In my hands, nothing is meaningless. Even your pain, when placed in my loving hands, becomes a tool to build someone no one can tear down. Do not let betrayal turn you into someone who distrusts all. I do not want you hardened, cold, or overly guarded. I do not want you building walls, living in suspicion. I want you tender yet strong, loving yet not blind, open-hearted yet wise through my spirit. And that is why I let you walk through this season, so you can learn to love without attachment, trust without naivety, discern without judgment. And one day you'll look back and thank me for those who left, because if they hadn't, you would have never met those I am sending. I am preparing for you new connections, healthy, pure, and true. People who do not compete with you, flatter you, or exploit your kindness, but who walk beside you as true companions. Those who carry my spirit, those whose presence brings peace to your soul. No more guessing their thoughts, no more inner battles, no more shrinking to keep others comfortable. I am clearing the way for divine relationships, so do not fear betrayal. Let it do its refining work. Let it burn away everything not from me, so you may walk freely, lightly, without dependence, without pretense. You have been marked for greatness. You have been chosen for an eternal purpose. And what I've begun in you, I will finish. No lie can stop it. No abandonment can derail it. No one can destroy what I've built unless you abandon yourself. Let betrayal teach you, but do not let it define you. Let the wound teach you discernment, but do not let it imprison you in pain. Let me do my part, for I never break my promises. And one day, when you stand in the place I promised, when you look back at those who turned away, you will no longer feel anger, only gratitude. Because it was their departure that made room for me to enter completely. My child, do not be surprised when betrayal comes knocking. Do not treat it as something strange, and do not take it as a sign that you've done something wrong. No betrayal does not come because you failed. It comes because you carry within you something of eternal worth, a light that darkness cannot ignore. People don't betray the nameless. They betray the one carrying the anointing, the dreams of heaven, the promises sealed by my presence. And so betrayal is not a verdict, it is part of the journey of the chosen. Joseph was thrown into a pit by his own brothers, not because he did wrong, but because the dream I planted in him stirred something in those around him. David was once loved by Saul, then hunted without rest. Even his own son Absalom rose to take his throne and forced him to flee the city he once ruled. And my beloved son Jesus was betrayed by one who called him teacher sold for the price of a slave. If betrayal came to the perfect one, will it spare you who bear his image? But child, I do not say this to make you fearful or hardened. I tell you this so that when it happens you will not be shaken, lost, or fall into bitterness. You are not alone in this pain. You are not strange for being rejected. You are not cursed, you are set apart. It is my presence upon your life that exposes what is false around you. Not because you are bad, but because the light in you disturbs the darkness in them. Some people were only meant to walk with you for a season. They were placed in your life as carriers to move you forward, to help you grow, to teach you something vital, but you loved them wholeheartedly. You opened your heart's door and believed they would stay. I do not fault you for that. Your love was real and I treasure it. But my beloved, sincere love does not make someone the right one. Covenant is not formed simply through proximity, it requires agreement in the spirit. You tried to hold on to those I assigned only for a portion of the path. You held on out of comfort, memories, and promises once spoken, but you confused emotion with calling, familiarity with destiny. Some people are not evil, but they no longer resonate with your spiritual frequency, and when they begin to withdraw or turn away, your heart breaks. You thought it was your fault, but child, I was never surprised. I always knew who they were. I allowed it not because I abandoned you, but because I know that wrong alignments can hold you back from the place I'm calling you to. I cannot let you build on foundations of compromise. I cannot let you bind your life to unholy connections, no matter how peaceful they may appear on the surface. You must learn that loss is not always punishment. Sometimes it is a gift wrapped in tears. When betrayal knocks, it doesn't just bring heartbreak, it brings refinement. It makes you reflect. It brings you back to the source me. It teaches you that no matter who comes or goes, you have a place that never changes, the arms of the one who will never betray you. Others' departure does not define you. Their indifference does not alter what I've declared over you. And their turning away, no matter how deeply it wounds, is not powerful enough to stop the flow of grace I am pouring into your life. Let me wipe your tears. Let me sit with you in that pain, not rushing you, not dismissing your emotions, but not allowing you to stay stuck either. I'm not saying you shouldn't hurt, but I am saying do not let the pain turn you into someone I didn't create. Do not let bitterness stain the heart that was once soft. Let every betrayal become a place where I teach you to rise stronger, brighter, truer, not to retaliate, but to move forward gently, yet with authority. You will look back and see it was when they left that you began to hear me more clearly. It was when you were pushed out of your comfort zone that you learned to place your faith, not in people, but in me. And it is in the very cracks of your heart that I plant something unshakable, discernment, wisdom, and depth that no classroom can give, only lived experience. You are maturing, not through bitterness, but through truth. Not through easy victories, but through silent betrayals where you chose to keep your heart pure. I see you, I know you, and I am not letting go. What I've begun in you I will finish. Those who cannot walk with you to where I'm leading, I will remove them, not because I judge them, but because I love you. And if they return, if they apologize, if they awaken, then, my child, forgive them. But if they don't return, you'll still be all right, because you do not live by apologies, you live by grace. Keep walking, with eyes, bright heart, light, and spirit renewed. For the rest of your journey is the very place where my glory will be revealed, and you will no longer be overshadowed by those who do not belong. My beloved child, there are things I did not tell you from the beginning, not because I was hiding them, but because I was waiting for you to grow. Some truths, if revealed too soon, would only deepen your wounds and cause you to doubt love, even your own. But I, your Father, know every rhythm of your soul's growth. I wait with divine patience bit by bit, until you learn not to view everything through the lens of emotion, but through the light of my spirit placed within you. Now the time has come. I am lifting the veil not to hurt you, but to help you see clearly and step out of what no longer belongs to you. This betrayal, this sudden rupture seemed like a loss, but it is actually the first step in a divine relocation I am orchestrating in your life. You have not lost, you have been moved. I am shifting your destiny, positioning you for something greater to come. There are people, relationships, connections that were blessings for a season but are now limits and barriers. Every step forward is a new level of your calling, and not everyone is prepared to walk with you there. Some are not bad, they're just no longer right for the next dimension I have for you. They belong to your old season. They are tied to where you were, not where I am leading you. I do not want you to carry deception into a new chapter. I don't want you to keep holding hands that no longer hold faithfulness. So I allow all things to be revealed, not to break you, but to stop you from bleeding from hidden wounds. You may feel loss, disillusionment, even question your ability to discern. But know this, child, this is my mercy dressed as separation. I will not let you drag what has died simply because you fear being alone. You once prayed for me to open the way. Now I have, but in a manner you didn't expect. I am not only opening doors, I am closing ones you weren't strong enough to close yourself, so don't panic. Don't see this unveiling as an earthquake, but as a holy rearrangement. A divine pruning is happening around you because the destiny within you is too great to be tied to anything false. Child, I know these days tempt you to doubt others, to doubt yourself, even to doubt me. But this is where I call you into a deeper kind of faith, stronger, fresher, a faith not built on ease of understanding, but on the posture of your heart toward me even when you comprehend nothing. I do not ask you to understand before you believe. I ask you to believe, and then you will understand. So today I say to you, trust me fully. Trust me to the point where you need nothing else but me. Trust me when it feels like there's nothing left to hold on to. Not because I am mysterious, distant, or hidden, but because I am faithful, unchanging. I have not changed my mind about you. I have not withdrawn my calling. My love for you is not swayed by circumstances. I am the same God who called you, who is leading you, and who will finish what I started in you. True faith begins where your reasoning ends. When nothing makes sense from a human lens, that is where I begin to unveil the supernatural. If you only believe when things are clear, your faith rests not in me but in yourself, and you already know your reasoning has limits, but my spirit does not. You cannot see the full picture because you are standing within the canvas. You glimpse strokes, some messy details, but I see the masterpiece. And what I'm painting is not chaos. It is a purposeful, ordered, radiant work formed through process and depth. There will be dark shades, there will be shadows, but all are needed to highlight the light I've placed ahead. Know this, I do not ask for blind faith. I ask for a humble and trusting faith, a faith that says, even when I don't understand, I will still follow. A faith that knows I never betray, even if others have betrayed you. A faith that says, Lord, I cannot see the way, but I trust the hand that's holding me. And this is my promise to you today, you will not walk alone. Not one step will be wasted. Not one sigh will go unheard. I am gathering every fragment, every heartbreak, every severed connection to weave them into something more beautiful, more profound, more enduring. What you lost is nothing compared to what I am about to give, and what I am building cannot be undone by human unfaithfulness. You don't need to see the whole path ahead. You only need to know I am right beside you. And if you hold your faith firm, if you don't turn away simply because you don't understand, you will see nothing has been taken without something greater being given in return. Walk with me without needing explanations. Walk without needing everything to make sense. Walk because your heart knows I am good. And then you will see, right in that walk, you will be healed, restored, made whole. Not because you understood it all, but because you trusted me enough to keep going even when your eyes saw no path ahead. My beloved child, true faith is not formed in warm light or among cheers and applause. True faith is born in the places no one wishes to linger. It grows in dark valleys amidst unanswered questions and in wounds that still bleed. Faith is not the song sung in a crowd, but the whisper, Lord, I still believe, spoken in the lonely night where no one sees your breaking. I have seen you remain silent when falsely accused. I have seen you bow your head in tears after being betrayed by the very one for whom you once prayed. I know there have been times you asked, is my kindness meaningless? Has my sincerity become a target for others to exploit? But my child, it is in those moments when you choose forgiveness over resentment and choose to keep walking instead of stopping that your faith is refined into pure gold. True faith does not require full understanding to move forward. It does not demand evidence or human validation. It requires only one thing: to know who I am and to trust my heart, even when my hand is doing something you don't yet understand. That kind of faith, the one you hold on to in disappointment, the one that doesn't hinge on results, is the unshakable foundation. It is what makes the darkness retreat. It is what stirs me to act. When I tell you not to put your trust in man, I am not asking you to close yourself off or live in fear. I am not asking you to doubt every relationship or to become a lonely soul in this world. But my child, the human heart is prone to change. Even those with good intentions can unintentionally hurt you. Even those who love you today may in weakness cause you pain tomorrow. Not because they are wicked, but because they too are stumbling, carrying wounds they do not know how to heal. That's why I say, let me guide your relationships. Do not give away your whole heart just because someone appears sincere. Do not call someone a companion merely because they say things that sound like me. There are those who speak my name but do not walk with me. There are those who say they love you but only love the pleasant version of you, not the real you, with wounds, with calling, with a light so bright it makes them turn away. You don't need to strain yourself trying to discern who is real and who is not. I have not placed that burden on your shoulders. All you need to do is draw near to me, and I will show you who is meant to stay and who it's time to release. I will prune the dead branches. I will sever the ties that drain life from your soul. And you will lose nothing, for I only remove what hinders to make space for what I truly have for you. Some have betrayed you and you hurt, I know. But there are others who betrayed without fully realizing the depth of the pain they caused. They acted out of wounds yet to be touched out of jealousy, never confessed out of pride built on comparison and competition. You don't need to understand them to forgive. You don't need an apology to let go. I will deal with them in my own way. What you must do is keep your heart pure, free of bitterness, free of contempt, free of avoidance. And my child, don't forget this, I am still writing your story. What others have done against you does not have the power to halt the pen in my hand. They may interrupt a chapter, leave a scar in another, but I, the author, the beginning and the end, will use the torn pages, the blank spaces, the unfinished lines to craft a masterpiece. I do not need every chapter to be flawless. I just need you to trust me enough to keep turning the page. Your story does not end in the chapter of betrayal. Just as Judas could not stop the plan of redemption, those who left you cannot destroy what I have ordained. Just as the cross opened the way to eternal life, your wounds, if placed in my hands, will open the way for a resurrection you've never dared to imagine. Don't look at your wounds and think you've failed. Look to me, the one pierced out of love, to know that glory always follows the breaking. You are not alone on this journey. Every step you take, I go before you. Every tearful whisper you release, I have recorded. You may not understand why things happened as they did, but you will understand who is leading you. I, your God, do not abandon, do not change, do not break my promises, and what I have promised I will fulfill. So, dear one, if today you still do not understand, if there are still tears, still emptiness, it's okay. All I ask is that you do not give up your faith. All I ask is that you still have the strength to whisper, I don't understand, but I still believe. That is the faith that moves mountains. That is the faith that makes darkness tremble. And that is the faith I use to build you into someone unshakable. My child, be still for a moment so you can hear me, remind you of what you once knew but forgot because of the tears. The calling I placed on your life is unchanging. It does not waver with human emotions. It is not diminished by someone's departure, nor does it extinguish when you feel exhausted. It was set by one who does not regret. It was etched by a steady hand. It was sealed by the Holy Spirit, not by human approval. You were not called by the applause of the crowd. not anointed by the admiration of others, not chosen because you fit someone's expectations. You were chosen by me, the one who sees the end from the beginning. And once I begin a work in you, no betrayal, no lie, no turning away can ruin it. You once thought, if they no longer believe in me, am I still worthy? But I ask you, does truth change just because someone stops believing in it? The answer is no. Likewise, the calling I have placed on you does not depend on someone else's loyalty. I do not build your destiny on the sand of fragile relationships. I place it upon my living word, unshaken, unchanging, unmoved by the seasons. When those you once trusted withdraw, when you feel alone among those who promise to stay, do not panic. Do not assume your mission is crumbling. On the contrary, you are drawing nearer to the season of separation for completion. I am stripping away what is no longer needed for the road ahead. I am leaving in your hands only what is real. Real hearts, real love, real spirit. My beloved, let me remind you who I am. I am not like man who changes when feelings shift. I am not like them who praise today, fall silent tomorrow, and turn their backs the next. I do not fail. I do not lie. I do not change like shadows at dusk. I am the everlasting one, unchanging yesterday, today, and forever. You can build your entire life on that foundation. When those you trusted pull back their hands, mine remains extended. When the voices around you become confused and cause you to doubt yourself, my voice remains constant, loving, strong, unwavering. You are mine. I have chosen you. I will complete what I began. So lean the full weight of your life on me, not just a part, every part. Breathe out gently and let me carry the burdens you keep trying to hold. I will not let you fall. And if you do fall, I will not just stand by. My hand is ready to lift you as I have so many times before. You thought I was distant, but in the moment you were most disappointed in yourself, I was closer than ever. When the storm rises, do not look at the waves. Look at me. For I am the one who spoke and the sea was calm. I am the one who stood in the storm, and with a single word, peace be still, the wind ceased, the sea was still. And you, though your heart is stormy, I can speak one word and peace will flood your soul. Not because you are strong, but because I do not change. If everyone turns their back on you, remember I am not going anywhere. I do not base my loyalty on circumstance. I have seen you in weakness, in failure, in anger, in doubt, and still I chose to love. Not because you are always right, but because my love is not built on perfection. My child, rise in that assurance. Walk not in doubt, but in confidence. Not everyone who understands you is meant to walk with you, and not everyone who walks with you for a time is meant to reach the end. I am your guide, not them. Do not measure your worth by the gaze of those who turned away. Do not let their rejection cloud my choosing. When I have marked you for greatness, then every criticism, every misunderstanding, every skewed perception will pass away. But my word will remain, and so will your destiny. For I do not change my mind because you made a mistake. I do not withdraw my promise because others misunderstood you. You are my workmanship, and I do not abandon what I have begun. Your latter glory shall be greater than the former. The wound shall be the place where light pours out. The betrayal shall be the place I anoint afresh, and the loneliness shall become the sacred ground where I establish the deepest communion between us. Rest in that truth. You do not need to strive to keep what I have guaranteed. All you must do is obey. The rest, leave it to me. And I will do it at the right time, in the right way, with the right people in the right place. For I am your Lord, the one who never fails. My child, I see the burden you carry is not light. Every step you take is heavy with the weight of expectations you place on yourself and the pressure of eyes you never wanted to disappoint. You smile through the pain, remain silent when your heart wants to scream. You keep going, believing that if you're good enough, strong enough, persistent enough, things will return to how they once were. But my child, I never called you to please this world. You were not created to carry the weight of it on your shoulders. You were made to be hidden in me, to live gently in the embrace of grace. At times you seek the nod of man as though it were your breath. I see you waiting for affirmation from those who were meant to walk with you, not define your worth. You've offered your whole heart in places that were never meant to protect it. And when they wounded you, you turned the blame inward. But today, I have not come to rebuke you. I have come to hold you and to say gently yet deeply, come back to the beginning, come back to me. You've wandered in your heart even though your body remains in my house. You still pray, you still worship, but your heart is entangled with things out there. I am not jealous like men are, I grieve. I grieve seeing you trade enduring peace for fragmented affections. Return beneath the shadow of my wings where no one can steal the rest of your soul. Let go of the things you think you must hold on to, for it is those very things that are draining the life within you little by little. I am not angry that you love too deeply. I am not troubled by your trust, your sacrifice, your giving. On the contrary, I cherish that heart, a heart open, sincere, willing to believe even after being hurt. But love does not mean losing yourself. Devotion does not equate to depletion. Service does not mean forgetting your worth. I want you to know you can love generously without being manipulated. You can give your heart without letting it be exploited. But that only happens when I am the center of every relationship you step into. Some relationships may have started with good intentions but were built on unhealthy ground. Some approached you with admiration in their eyes but comparison and envy in their hearts. Some stayed close not to walk with you but to monitor, to control, to take. I see it all. I know who's true and who pretends. And so at times you will see me close a door. I will remove them from your circle. They will leave without warning. A connection will quietly fade. You will hurt and ask me why. But my child, trust me. Not every loss is a breaking. Some losses are freedom wrapped in emptiness. I do not want you to live dependent on applause. I did not create you to pour your heart out endlessly to those who were never ready to receive it genuinely. You were made to live a full life with wisdom from above and love that doesn't ask you to lose yourself in return. Let me be the one who filters for you. I know who is praying for you in silence and who is secretly hoping for your downfall. I know the motive behind every compliment, every help, every seemingly harmless embrace. And I, your faithful Father, will not leave you in a land of pretense. I love you enough to free you from bonds rooted in illusion. Some of the people you thought were blessings were really lessons. Some names you've held onto out of loyalty I've had to remove to shield you from what you couldn't yet see. Sometimes rejection is not cruelty, it's how I redirect your destiny. And if you truly trust me, you must learn to receive even my silence as guidance. For I don't always speak with words often. I speak through departure. If a door is shut, don't keep staring at the handle. If someone walks out of your life, don't chase after them just because you fear the void. For I, the one who formed your soul, will never leave your heart to thirst in vain. I never remove without the intention to replace with something greater, healthier, truer. But that cannot come until your heart is free from the old ties. I want you to step into a new season one where you live from truth, no longer bowing to the darkness dressed as light. I want you to rebuild your life, but this time with bricks of discernment, firm faith, and a love rooted in me, not in a hollow longing to be filled. I will show you who to keep, who to release. And if I say no, receive it not as rejection but as protection. You cannot see everything. You don't know the intentions of others. But I do. I see from beginning to end. I see through the words and the smiles. I understand the silent pauses between conversations where real intentions hide. And because I know I will not let you fall into the hands of those wearing masks of friendship, even if you desire something that isn't good for you, I will intervene not out of tyranny, but because I am your father, and a father always protects his child even before they understand why. Give your heart back to me. Let me heal the parts of it still bruised and bleeding. You don't have to race to prove anything anymore. You don't need to convince anyone to stay. You don't have to become a version of yourself others prefer. You only need to be who I created with love, with divine purpose, and with a destiny no one else can replace. You can rest in letting go of uncertainty because I am unchanging. Even if all else leaves, I remain. Even when all voices fall silent, mine still whispers. Even when all hands let go, mine is still outstretched. You are not alone. You are not invisible. You do not have to strive to be loved. You have always been loved unconditionally, endlessly, unchangeably. Breathe, my child. From this moment forward, you no longer have to cling to anything I haven't given you. You don't need to hold on to things never built on truth. Let me be your place of return, not just when you're weary, but even when you're at a crossroads. Then you'll see peace doesn't come from having all the answers. Peace comes from knowing you're being led by the one who never loses his way. My beloved, do not be surprised when the world around you begins to shake. Do not fear when the things you once leaned on start to fall away, because I am moving not in the way you expected, but in the way I know is best for you. You prayed for protection from hurt, from lies, from anything hindering your spiritual growth. And now this revealing, this ending, this breaking, is the answer to that prayer. My protection isn't always an embrace that shields you from pain. Sometimes it's me removing what appeared calm but was corroding your soul day by day. I won't let you continue in systems of people and emotions built on pretense. You asked me to lift you, but didn't yet realize that elevation always begins with shedding what can't come with you. No one can rise while carrying weights that were never blessed. So let it happen, my child. Let me take it away. Don't hold on to what I've brought to an end. Don't return to what left your soul tired. Don't give second chances to those I've already shown you don't walk in step with my spirit. When I close a door, it is not rejection, it's realignment. Do not resist, for your resistance cannot preserve what I have not blessed. Even now, though you may not see it clearly, I am preparing a new space for you, a new circle. Divine connections not born from manipulation, flattery, comparison, or compromise, but from my own heart for you. I am sending people with pure hearts, clear vision, hands without hidden agendas, and purposes bigger than themselves. They will not exploit you, overshadow you, or trap you in fake safety. They will uplift you in truth, in love, in faithfulness that flows from me. But for them to enter rightly, your heart must be healed first. Not to become hardened, but to receive wisely, not from fear of being hurt again. I don't want you stepping into your future with eyes still wet from the past. Not opening your heart in trembling or building on doubt. I want you rooted in me deeply so that when the new wind comes, you stand firm, not in tension. I'm doing that work in you day by day, night by night. Not rushed, but not delayed. I'm not just patching wounds, I'm healing at the root, pulling out the remnants of insecurity left by words, looks, rejection, and crushed dreams once shared with those you thought were companions. And you must know this. Those who turned their backs on you, who spoke wrongly of you, used you, rejected you, they are not beyond my sight or my reach. I love them just as I love you, and I will correct them if needed, not for vengeance, but for the chance of redemption. My correction is proof of love, not wrath, but that is no longer your burden to carry. They are no longer part of the story I'm writing in your new season. That burden is not yours. The explanations, the justice, leave that to me. As for you, you were never called to avenge. Never born to wander in mazes of anger and regret. You were made to grow, to turn wounds into wisdom, pain into understanding. You don't need to obsess over fairness, I'll take care of that. You just need to walk in the freedom I bought for you with my son's life. Lift your head, my child. No one can steal your future except you. No one can undo my promises unless you choose to stop walking forward. Your calling hasn't lost value because some people didn't see it. Your identity isn't erased because of disappointment. What I've etched into you, no one can remove. It remains whole, shining brightly in my eyes. I never promised no pain, but I did promise no pain would be wasted. Everything you go through I will use to teach, to train, to equip. And when the new season arrives, when those I send begin to appear, you will look back and see, I never forgot you. I never abandoned you. I never let you break without preparing a plan for your restoration. It was all part of the journey to lead you to where you belong, fully alive in the person I created you to be. Beloved, one, keep your heart at peace. Don't look back. Don't strive to understand everything now. Take my hand and keep walking. Every step I will be with you. And you will see I am not just the God of beginnings, but the God of completion. My beloved child, remember deep within your heart the absence of people is not the end, nor is it a mirror that reflects your true worth. Even if someone turns their back, even if another chooses silence, these things only expose the limits of the human heart. They never define the soul I have shaped. Do not let the gaps in human affection become abysses that imprison your faith. Do not allow their rejection to bind your steps. You are not defined by those who left you behind, nor chained by memory or another's forgetting. You belong to me, the Almighty Creator, the one who breathed life into you, who called you by name, and who has never departed from your side. Know this: in the very moments you feel most alone, I am present with you in fullness. When human eyes look away, my gaze still follows you without faltering, tender and steadfast as in the beginning. When other hands withdraw, my hand remains open, upholding you without ceasing. When the voices of men fall silent, my word resounds within your spirit, bringing strength, steadiness, and hope. I have never denied you, never dismissed you, never abandoned you to face the storm alone. My faithfulness does not waver, my love does not fade, my mercy does not diminish with time. And it is in this unchanging constancy that you will find the foundation to stand even when the world trembles and human hearts shift. Do not stare at the doors that men have closed and think you are imprisoned. For I am the one who opens new doors, doors that lead you into wide places of peace and freedom. When they refuse, I still receive. When they forget, I still remember every smallest detail of your life. When they judge you through narrow lenses, I see the whole of the person I created, full of dignity, rich in capacity, carrying a potential beyond what you can imagine. You are my handiwork, woven not with threads of chance, but with the eternal wisdom and deliberate purpose of my hand. Therefore, let my light shape you, not the shadows of human indifference. Let your heart rest in the truth that my love for you is unconditional. I do not love you because you are perfect. I love you right in the midst of weakness. I do not stay with you because you meet some human standard, but because my nature is faithfulness. When you fall, I do not leave. When you are weak, I draw nearer. When you weep in the night, I sit beside you, wipe away your tears, and whisper hope. My love does not shift with seasons, does not dry with years, does not fade when you stray. I am the one still there when all else seems lost, the flame unquenched when other lights go out, the unchanging harbor when all other ships have sailed away. In me, you will find your true home. Therefore, my child, do not let the pain of rejection make you question your worth. Do not let human silence mute my voice of love. Do not let the shadows of those who left obscure my presence right beside you. Each time you lift your eyes to me, you will see a gaze that never changes, a gaze overflowing with love, a gaze affirming, you belong to me, and I will never forsake you. You are the precious jewel I have cherished from the beginning. You are the treasure in my hand, and no power can steal you away. Though people may forget, though the world may fade, I have engraved your name upon my palms, never to be forgotten. You may ask, why did they leave me? Why do they no longer need me? But know, my child, it is not because you lack worth, but because the human heart is limited. People turn away from what they do not understand. They withdraw. When no longer benefiting, they fall silent when they cannot walk alongside. But I am different. I do not trade in love. I do not stay because of what you give. I do not remain for gain. I remain because of you, because my love for you is absolute. My faithfulness is unmoved by the actions of any. Though the world rejects, I still say you are accepted. Though all fall silent, I still call you belong to me. So be courageous, my child, and walk forward without looking back at the footsteps that have departed. Open your heart wide to receive my strength. Let my call lift you out of the pit of doubt. Believe that with every step, you are never alone, for my hand always holds yours. Though you walk in the thickest night, my light shines upon you. Though you pass through fire, I cover you. Though you cross raging waters, I keep you safe. You are never abandoned, for I am the one who is with you from the beginning and unto eternity. My beloved, let your heart soak in this truth. You are not defined by what people have done, but by my unchanging love. You are not imprisoned in another's memory, but freed in the covenant I have made with you. You do not belong to fading shadows, but to me, the one who stays, who loves, who keeps, who guides. And as long as you place your trust in me, you will see no rejection is strong enough to undo you, no silence great enough to drown my gentle call. You are not lost. You are still in my embrace, the safest place, the most blessed place, the place no power can divide. My beloved child, I want you to know that in every heartbeat of time, when pain is too deep for words, when layers of emotion weigh so heavily that you feel as though language itself has been lost, I am still there. I sit beside you, never distant, never silent, as you hover near the abyss. I am there whether you see me or not, whether your feelings are sharp or faint. I am present like breath itself, like a quiet current flowing through all things, never ceasing. When your eyes are fixed on emptiness, when you struggle to hold your heart from shattering, I have already wrapped you in a nearness beyond measure, like the sky embracing the earth. When dreams you cherished collapse, when hopes you thought were ripening vanish like smoke, I do not stand outside your life. I am no distant spectator. I extend my hand to clasp your trembling hands, to assure you that even when everything else dissolves, one thing remains unchanged: my unbreakable bond with you. That grasp is not only to comfort, but to infuse you with strength, to remind you, you are not alone, you have me. When your soul cries out, "Why me? Why must all this pain fall upon me?" I do not answer with dry explanations, nor with logic that chills a bleeding heart. I answer with my presence. I remain with you, a living affirmation that your pain is not dismissed, your wounds are not belittled. There are questions whose answers are not found in human reasoning, but in companionship, where my presence itself becomes the proof of love. Even if you cannot yet recognize it, my child, I have never departed, not for one moment. Through betrayals that shattered your heart, I remained. Others may change, withdraw promises, or turn their backs at your greatest need, but I am not like them. My faithfulness is not seasonal. I stand immovable as a fortress, keeping you from collapse. Through storms that tear, suddenly sweeping all around you, I remain your anchor. I am like a lighthouse shining in the tempest, like a steady hand upon a tossing vessel. When drought scorches, when your soul cracks and thirsts for a drop of water, I am the never-failing spring. When weariness bears down, I still walk with you, breathing strength, so you do not fall. Remember, my love is not confined by your feelings. At times you may feel nothing, at times the darkness blinds, yet the truth does not change. I am there. I am in the silence, in the tears that stream, in the sighs that weigh upon you. I know every broken thought, every unspeakable pain, and I am not distant. I bend low, I touch, I soothe. You once thought my silence was abandonment, but that silence is not absence. It is my way of clothing you in peace, my way of giving you strength to rise. If I explained every detail, you would never learn to trust in the dark. Yet when I give you only my presence, you will discover that true love does not need noise to endure, nor volume to prove itself. It only needs to stay, and I have always stayed. Through each step you feared was lost, I walked with you. Through each night when your pillow was soaked with tears, I sat close. Through every heavy day when you wanted to surrender, I whispered in your heart, "Do not fear, I am here. I never leave. You may stumble, you may fall, but you will never be utterly crushed, because my hands are still beneath you." And one day when you look back, you will see clearly, in the hours you thought yourself forsaken, you were in fact being held. In the roads you thought were lonely, my footprints were beside yours. In the cries that choked your throat, it was I who dried your tears. You will understand that through betrayal, through storms, through drought, my presence was your surest comfort, the very strength that kept you alive. So, my beloved, let this truth anchor your soul: you are never abandoned. No betrayal is great enough to drive me away, no storm is fierce enough to push me from your side, no drought is long enough to exhaust my love, and no weariness can weary me in loving you. I am still there yesterday, today, and forever. My beloved child, pause your soul for a moment in the midst of life's haste and listen to what I long to tell you. My love and my faithfulness are not tied to the wavering emotions of this world. nor are they lifted up and cast down by the fragile breath of humanity. They are not shifting moods, not gifts given when you are good enough, nor withdrawn when you stumble, but a steadfast reality, a deep-rooted foundation that endures every season. Do not let your heart tremble before the judgments of others. Do not measure your worth by praise or blame, for your true value flows from an unchanging source, a source untouched by human actions or fleeting time. I stand as the pillar, the rock in the midst of the sea when you feel swept by the current. I am the place where you may lay down every role, every wall, every armor woven of fear or shame, and there you are allowed to be bare, to be weak, to release the whispers you have hidden for so long. In that place you do not need to strive to please, to prove, or to perfect. Your very being, with all its scars and fractures, is embraced, seen, and loved without condition. When rejection pierces you like a blade, when life's winds blow hard, I remain your refuge, your home. When your spirit withers like a dry leaf about to fall, a gentle hand lifts you, warmth fills your frame, and life stirs again. My presence is not judgment pressing you to perfection, but grace, permitting you to be yourself and to heal. Picture an anchor lodged deep in the seabed. Ships may be battered by storms, ropes may fray and snap, but the anchor point holds firm. That is what I am, your unmoving anchor amid trials. When confusion and despair swirl around you, I do not withdraw. I steady you, granting strength for each small step, lifting you when you feel lost. And when the shadows of loss fall upon you, when your trust wanes under the sting of betrayal, I become shade for your weary heart, not to hide the pain, but to give rest so you can recover. In my embrace you may cry, you may fall silent, you may utter questions without answers, and none of these lessen your worth before me. Let me remind you through another image, you are like a piece of pottery cracked and chipped through many blows. Yet it is within those cracks that I place light, sealing them with love, not to disguise the breaks, but to honor your journey, to transform sorrow into testimony of survival and beauty restored. You do not need a flawless facade to be loved. Your fragility and your falls are what make your story unique, and I love every page of it. When you surrender your defenses, I do not exploit it. I meet it with even greater gentleness, like a father holding his child who no longer has strength to stand. This love does not calculate or weigh it, simply abides, staying, caring, guiding, upholding. At times you mistake the coldness of others for proof that you are excluded from love. But do not let the smallness of human hearts dictate the destiny of your soul. You belong to something deeper, to a promise older than any word spoken by man, a covenant that holds you in. My hand engraved upon my eternal heart. When others retreat, one hand never withdraws. When words change, one voice still calls your name. Carry this comfort like a warm cloak. Walk into the world with courage, knowing that failure or rejection cannot erase the identity bestowed on you by your Creator. With time, you will see how faded moments are transformed. Deserts will bloom if you allow healing to take root. Darkened places will reveal light if you believe you are lifted, not left alone. Let the fires of trial refine you, but do not think the flames mean I have departed. On the contrary, they are the very forge by which I shape you, bringing forth hidden virtues long buried. In every fracture I am near, not to let you burn away, but to turn pain into inner strength. You will discover that the wounds which once felled you now stand as evidence of resilience, compassion, and the power to embrace others with the depth of your own experience. Do not hastily use fleeting feelings as the measure of your relationship with me. Passing sensations are not truth's standard, and love's proof is not always loud applause. Sometimes it is a quiet peace that slips in amid the noise, a gentle release across your brow when weary, a whisper in your heart urging you on. Trust the presence that requires no spectacle. It is in silence that my love shows its depth. In steady quietness I give you the foundation to endure. And when you are too weary even to pray, when your words run dry and hope seems frozen, I still hear you, every groaning breath, every sob in the night, every thought you wish no one knew. I am not distant as a concept, but near enough to know the rhythm of your heartbeat, to feel compassion for every chain that binds you to the past. Let me hold you once more in peace. You need not hide, succeed, or please anyone to be worthy of love. You are already enough because the source of love is fixed in what cannot be altered by circumstance. So walk on, my child, in the freedom unconditional love gives you. Cast off every chain forged by prejudice or rejection, and rise above the voices that sow doubt. Though droughts come, though storms rage, keep before you the image of a steadfast anchor and a soothing shade. These are my promises to you. I will not leave. I will not change. I will be your home and your rest. In my arms you will rediscover yourself, be restored, and be given strength to love others as I have loved you. I am the one who stays when others walk away, the one who listens when no one else asks how you're doing, the one who shields you from unseen threats. I am your friend, your father, your soul's keeper, even when no one knows you're breaking. And more than that, I am enough. Not just enough for today, but for the future you can't yet see. Enough to heal, enough to restore, enough to rebuild everything that once broke into something stronger, purer, and more sacred. So walk with me, my child. You don't need to understand. You don't need to calculate. You just need to trust. A simple, whole, relentless trust. Trust me when there's nothing else to hold on to. Trust me when everything blurs. Trust me when your heart aches and your prayers grow weary. Because I don't ask you to be strong enough to move forward. I only ask that you let me hold your hand. I am trustworthy. Not because I always do what you want, but because everything I do is right for your soul. I will not lead you in fear. I will not send you into confusion. I will lead you through fields, valleys, and shadows toward a place where the light never fades. You can't see it all now, but you can place all your trust in me, the one who knows the end from the beginning. Remember, I don't only know what is good for you, I know what is right. And sometimes what's right walks through loss, betrayal, loneliness. But don't fear, because behind every crack I am preparing to birth something new. Betrayal isn't the end, it's the sign that a door has closed, so a greater, holier one can open. I am moving, my child. I am writing a new chapter, without deception, without misplaced people, without chains that kept you grounded. And you, right now, you are exactly where you need to be in this journey. Even if everything around you says otherwise, even if your heart still questions, know this: I have never been mistaken. I have never chosen wrong, and I have chosen you. Now it's time to release the weight, not by abandonment, but by surrender. Let me carry what you were never made to bear. Let me hold your heart, not to harden it, but to help it beat again in rhythm and purpose. Let me be your refuge, the place your faith can rest without fear. You don't need to understand everything to surrender. You just need to believe that I have never failed and never will. What I began in you, I will finish. What was broken, I will redeem with a new joy. And the days ahead, they will be better than what you once thought was best. Because with me, the best is always still ahead. Rest now, my child. You don't need to strive anymore. You don't need to hold it all together. I will hold you, and I never give up. You don't have to speak perfectly, just speak honestly. Pray to me. Almighty God, the one who searches every heart, I bow before you, though my soul still bears many wounds. I do not fully understand what is happening, but I believe you never act without purpose. Help me not to hold on to what you are trying to take away. Grant me the courage to let go, to not look back, to be free from things whose time in my life has expired. Cleanse me, Lord. Uproot every root of bitterness, fear, and dependence that has unknowingly taken hold in me. I do not want to move forward carrying the tattered baggage of the past. Please heal me to the very root. Faithful Father, you who always fulfill your promises, I ask that you give me a heart no longer swayed by the eyes of the world. Teach me to love without becoming attached, to give without expecting return. Teach me to stand firm even when no one stands beside me, for you alone are my true refuge. Heal the places within me that have been used, misunderstood, or abandoned. I do not want to be shaped by the actions of others, but by the words you speak over me. Restore your image in me, not distorted by betrayal, but strengthened by your presence. Lord, my Creator, who has never forsaken me, I offer you the weariness of my soul. There were times I believed silence was proof. You had turned away, but now I understand it was then. You were working most deeply within me. Help me not to require answers in order to find peace. I only need to know that you are here, that you are healing, that you are rewriting my destiny. Give me new strength so I no longer look behind. Though the path ahead remains unclear, grant me the faith to move forward with you. True and unchanging God, I place my life in your hands. If you are waiting for me to let go so you can work, then today I release it. If you are cleansing, I will not cling to what must go. If you are testing, I choose obedience. If you are refining, I choose trust. If I must lose in order to find myself in you, then I say, let your will be done. Lord of my heart, thank you for not retreating from my life when I am in turmoil. You do not abandon me when I fail to understand your plan. You remain patient, gentle, watching over every step I take. I thank you that you not only heal wounds, but you restore my heart. You do not allow me to remain a victim forever. You lift me up and teach me to walk as one who is chosen. I am grateful that exposure does not bring me shame, it brings me freedom. Heavenly Father, I thank you that you see my worth even when others do not. You are not swayed by the labels the world assigns me. You see the potential in me even when I see only dimness. I am grateful that you do not wait for me to be perfect before you love me. You love me right here in my confusion, in my brokenness. I thank you that you are not discouraged by my delays. You wait with mercy that never runs dry. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong community of faith.